Final segment tonight, Ron Paul clocks in at about 11% in the latest presidential survey and continues to make his case across the nation. In New Hampshire, he said that President Obama might be impeached for using drones to kill al-Qaeda terrorists.
I think the impeachment process would be possible, but it requires the Senate. You could do more investigating to find out, exactly what was going on and how they flaunted the law and who personally was responsible. But I put the responsibility on the president.
Now, most Americans disagree with Congressman Paul. They like the drone program, and the congressman also believes it's acceptable for Iran to build a nuclear weapon. Question this evening, is Ron Paul hurting the libertarian movement? Here now, Fox Business anchor John Stossel.
No, he's not hurting it. Wait. He is the libertarian movement, much of it.
But I just want to get, you are a libertarian, right?
I am.
Do you get a little card? Do you have it? Does it say?
No, we're not like those.
It's like a blood card, like I'm a libertarian, give my blood to Ron Paul if I die or something like that. You don't have a little thing, right?
Well, I do have a little thing.
What do you have?
The Constitution and the Declaration of Independence.
Libertarians own the Constitution, right?
We believe and we think it's a good thing.
All right, so Ron Paul says that, in the middle of a war, using the Hellfire missiles fired from Predator drones could be an impeachable offense. And you say?
Well, I'm glad you said could be impeachable. At the top of the show, you said he was calling for impeachment. He was just answering a question, and he said, all the presidents since I've been in Congress have done some things that violated the Constitution and therefore could be an impeachable offense.
Okay, how does the drone program violate the Constitution?
Are you saying the president, the executive branch, without consulting with any other branch, can just go to any country and kill people without declaring war?
Well, there you have me on a technical measure. I have said from the very beginning, ladies and gentlemen, that Congress should have declared war after 9/11 so that the president would have the authority. Okay, but they've danced around this by a variety of different ways. You know the dance, all right?
Right, and I'm glad this guy got killed.
Right, and national security requires the president to order certain things. You're glad that they killed this al-Awlaki guy in Yemen, right? Okay, and I'm glad, and most Americans are glad. So why are we making a big deal out of this?
Because it makes me uncomfortable to think that the executive branch cannot even explain what the evidence is, not consult.
They explain what the evidence is. There's videotapes of this guy saying Americans should be killed all over the place.
Those videotapes exist, but when the president's press secretary was asked about this, can you provide the evidence, explain the reasoning behind this? He didn't come up with anything. He said,
I can't speak for Jay Carney, but I can tell you there's buku evidence that this guy was involved with the Fort Hood shootings, that he was involved with a number of things where Americans were killed.
He said, I don't consult with anybody for the killing of Americans.
All right.
But
now,
it's a bad precedent.
You said, I just want to be clear, you like Ron Paul's policies.
Yes.
You like it. But how could you sit there and say that when Ron Paul would be fine with Iran developing a nuclear weapon, which would be off the chart dangerous?
Well, fine is an unfortunate choice.
I asked him on this program. I asked Paul flat out what he would do, and I got a bunch of gobbledygook from him. And then he got mad because I wouldn't allow him to give me a history lesson for 3 hours on the Middle East. Okay? And he said a week ago, well, wait, Israel had, drawing a moral equivalency to Israel, Iran to Israel. Well, Israel has them, so they should be able to have them. That's insane.
Well, I disagree with the equivalency with Israel. But what's your alternative? We're going to conquer and
there's a bunch
occupy
of things
a country 2.5 times the size of Iraq and then pry the yet-to-be-invented nuclear weapon from their cold, dead hands?
You can't do that.
That's crazy, too.
You can't do that, but you can blockade if you have to. You can do...
We have sanctions. They rarely have worked.
They don't work. But there's a whole bunch of things you can do, all right, to send a message to Iran that this is not going to be accepted by us. But Paul's message is, go ahead.
Those missiles can't reach us. They can't deliver them here.
Good.
It's not good, but what's our only alternative?
So let's blow up Ireland. Come on. I mean, I think Paul does a lot of damage to the
You can either invade a country or leave them alone and trade with them. And when goods cross borders, armies don't.
Okay. I don't think many Americans are interested in trading with Iran. And I think
that government will collapse of its own authoritarian mistakes.
My idea is to send Ron Paul over there, and maybe that would hasten the collapse. Stossel, thank you for taking a